Hey guys, it's Robbo from Just Ask Robbo, and welcome to another Minute on Your Mic. Now, today I wanted to have a quick chat to you about something that can feel really daunting when the studio turns around and says, well, listen, can we connect on Source Connect? And if you haven't used it before, you can sort of have a bit of a mild panic, I have no doubt. So I thought I'd just talk you through the really simple steps that is all it takes from a talent end to get this thing going. So the first thing you really need to remember, and this is really important, is you don't need to buy Source Connect, especially if you're not using it all the time. If you're using it regularly, I would certainly recommend spending the money and having Source Connect there all the time. But if you're only getting a session a month or less, then you can just rent it. And a 2-day rent from the Source Elements website is about $25 US, which is about 35 in Australian, and that gets you 2 days to have and use Source Connect as much or as little as you like. Now, I would suggest that you sort of pay for it the day before, install it, make sure you've got no problems, and then you've got all day of the day of your session in case you need to do pickups or whatever. So it's really simple to install. It's just like anything else. But where it can get a little bit daunting is for you as a voice talent to make sure that it's going to do exactly what you want it to do. So as I said, let me just walk you through some of those scripts. So I've got my Source Connect open here. Now, look, mine is a little bit different because I'm using what they call the studio version. You'll find there is a talent version, there's a studio version, and then there's a facility version. Now, all you need is the talent version, and it will be a little bit different, but most of these things I'm going to show you will be exactly the same. So the first thing, obviously, that we want to do is we want to make sure that we've got our audio going in. So as you can see here, mine is, but how do we do that? We just go up here to the little settings, and here you can select what your input is. So at the moment I'm on my Rodecaster, you can see that, and because I need to record the output of this to somewhere else, at the moment my output's set to from Source Connect, so that's actually recording back to this recording, so I can show you the audio that I want to show you in a little while. But for you, it would be just back to your headphones or back to your interface or wherever your normal computer audio ends up, so you can hear what they're telling you on the other end. So that's my audio setup. The next thing you need to know is how to connect, and that's not hard either. You just go up here to your little sort of two-head thing here, and over on the Source Elements website, when you create your login, you will set up your contacts, and that's where you add and remove your contacts on the website, not on here. All that shows up here is the contacts that you already have. So if you need to add a studio, I would be asking them to add you. If you're not sure what to do, then when you jump on into Source Connect, you can just go in here and you'll see them named, and you can see all the contacts I have here. They're named quite clearly, so it'll be obvious who you need to connect to. So for now, I'm going to connect to what they call an echo test, and this is the next thing we need to talk about. Once you've got your inputs and outputs set up and you think you've got it right, come over here to your contacts and you can connect to the Source Elements server. And what it does is it listens to me, whatever I say, and then it fires it back to me and I can hear it. And if it's doubling up, or if it's, if there's something that's not quite right in what I'm sending, I'm going to hear that. And I'm also going to be confident that I can hear what the studio is going to be saying to me, because I can hear the output of Source Connect clearly in my headphones. So it's doing two things. It's giving you the confidence that the audio you're sending is clean, and it's giving you the confidence that you're going to be able to hear the studio without any feedback or anything silly going on once you connect. So let's have a look at that. So what do? We just go here, we select the echo test. I've selected echo test 1. I click connect, and it will have a think about it for a minute. And then over here in my connections window, we should see in a minute if it's going to work. There we go. We should see my connection. And as you can hopefully hear, I can hear myself coming back at me, and I know that what I'm doing is sounding right on their end, and what I'm getting back is sounding right to me on my end. If there's any problems, obviously, now I go up here and I click on the leave button. I leave that call. You don't need to answer that. And then I can go and have a look and try and figure out what's going on with my signal, whether it be coming back from them or whether it's my signal going to them, and then do another echo test until I get it right. And then I can leave it. As we talked about, this would be the day before. If you're only renting it, the day before your session, I would leave it. And then the next morning before my session, because things can go wrong overnight on your computer, the next morning I'd come back, I would open it up again and I'd do another echo test just to be sure that nothing's changed overnight and I'm ready for my session. So look, they're the main things and really the most important things that you need to remember when you're doing a Source Connect session. The other thing I would suggest, and this is only, if you want to go the extra step, is when you're doing your session, when you're recording the voiceover session, open up whatever it is you normally record on, and just at the beginning of the session, and just hit record. And just record everything that comes off your microphone as what we call a safety. And look, 99.99999% of times you're never going to need it. But if something completely goes wrong with Source Connect and the studio comes back to you and says, hey, listen, this is what's happened. By any chance, I don't suppose you recorded the session. You can look like the hero and go, well, hey, yeah, actually I did. Here, I'll send it to you. Or you can ask them at the end of the session, hey, listen, I recorded that. Do you guys need it for any reason? And again, it's just it's not a you have to. It's certainly not expected unless the studio asks you to. To be honest, 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, if you're recording with me, I will ask you to do that because it just gives me that extra confidence that if my fail safes, if none of them work, I've still got another fail safe to fall back on to save the recording if something completely out of the blue goes wrong. And it's happened, like blackouts during a session or, something like that on my end. And so I actually lose everything. Doesn't matter how many backups I've got going or whatever else, I've just lost everything. And I've got that confidence that I can come back and sort of get that file off you when the time comes. So look, don't be daunted by Source Elements or Source Connect in general. Take the time, get to know the software. It's not hard. All you need to do is get an input and output, make sure that you can connect with them and make sure that the audio that you're sending and receiving is sounding good to you so you're ready to go. And if you want to go that extra step, don't forget a backup. I hope that's helped. A little bit more than a minute on your mic this week, but I hope it's helped. Next week, I'll be back with another minute on your mic and we can dive into something else.